Well, hello, and welcome to Twitch. This is not the usual broadcasty stuff that I do. I thought, seeing as it's Wednesday night, let's have a crack at just playing out some clips from the Comic Solving Problem show that I do with Eric McElroy. I'll play the clips in a bit. It is meant to be a well-hidden and stealthily positioned way of trying to get you to watch tomorrow night's show at 9, but you won't even notice that it's a plug, as long as I don't mention it. Other than that, I thought we'd have a little chat through some of the newspapers that are coming out for tomorrow, and also some tweets that I've been having fun. Basically, earlier on today, I managed to upset some anti-vaxxers, which they'll recover in time. Not as quickly as people with an immune system that works. But, so yeah, that's been fun. We'll go through some of that. And if you'd like to get stuck into some of the messages, I've put it on there. So you can Twitch, you can Instagram, you can Twitter. It's all at Mr. Stephen Allen. And we'll see how that goes. So hello! Welcome to the wider screen version. Whenever I broadcast with Eric McElroy, as you will see in the clips, we get half a screen each, which means this entire place has been designed so that I have that much in shot. Looks pretty good. As soon as you get beyond it, it's all curtain and wardrobe. Just goes to show, never trust what you see on, it's clearly not TV, is it? Whatever. Never trust what you see on the internet, which is exactly the arguments that I've been getting into with anti-vaxxers all day. So welcome along. If you're in the message thingy, say hi, give us some shout outs and all that. If you do message, it'll go on this computer. I've been trying to get comment cam working again. This time I moved it to up there. Hello comment people. And what I like about it is that I'm still slightly, look at that, special effects, mate. George Lucas wishes he could have done that. So you'll be messaging over here. We're on Twitch, we're on DLive. We're on, I can tell you some of the other weird ass ones that I signed up for. We're not on the main thing, so we're not on Twitter or the main YouTube channel or Facebook, none of that. But we are on DLive, FC2, no idea, porn. We're on Trovo, and the rest of them didn't work. So, welcome along to the B-list streams that we send the shows to. And also thank you if you're watching this after the afternoon that I had. I was doing some radio showings in Essex, so that was fun. We'll talk about that. What I'll do, though, is get into some of the clips. So if you don't watch our main show, you're missing a trick. Tuesday and Thursday at 9, we do a live show, and by God, it's certainly the best thing on our YouTube at that time. So what you need to do is get yourself subscribed to like youtube.com/comic solving problems. I'll play some of the clips of recent things that we've done. You can also find old shows and clips are on social media, Twitter, that you can see down there. So let's get into it. One of the clips that I'm going to play for you is about the monolith. Now, we'll get stuck into it. Oh, hopefully, by the way, I should be able to show you this. If I bring up, here we are. In theory, if I press this, you can see various web pages that I've got on this machine. So it's all about this metal structure that was discovered in Utah, and then it disappeared. Gutted for you, mate, because I was going to nip over there and nick it and melt it down, because that was the only way to make money this year. And then also on Twitter at the moment is this story of the mysterious monolith. A second one appeared in Romania, and now it's disappeared as well. This is the kind of, look, I don't know what it's doing. It's probably broadcasting 5G or some sort of stuff like that. So what I thought we would do is play one of the clips that we talked about last night when we were covering this very story. So here's what we dealt with when we were talking about the monolith. A little picture of the monolith. It's not a monolith. It comes from the Greek, mono meaning single, and lithos meaning stone. You can't have a metal monolith. And it was made of metal sheets riveted together, so it's not even one. It's not a monolith. Is it aliens or is it not? I'm actually joined by an alien. Hello.
Hello, Earthling.
Oh, wow, an actual alien. It's such a pleasure to get to meet you.
Actually, we have met before, but we wiped your memory. And we had to wipe the probe a few times. Shower more, would you?
Anyway, let's talk about the monolith. What's going on with that?
Yes, it is ours. We traveled across time and space to visit humankind. We landed in a desert and erected what you humans call the monolith, but what we call our hat stand.
Why did you leave it, though?
When we saw what was happening on Earth in 2020, With the plague, disease, lockdown, and Donald Trump, we thought, sod this for a game of billiards, and went home. We were in such a rush, we left it behind.
Checks out. Yeah, makes sense to me. Thank you very much for joining us, an alien. That's the kind of stuff that you're missing if you're not watching the show on Tuesday and Thursday. So if I were you, I'd get stuck in. Yeah, that monolith, I'm upset. It's not only not the right word, but this is clearly some sort of hoax. People are going to think it's great to put monolith up in various places. I say do it. This is a year when we definitely need distraction. And also, this is a time in history where I think we've become stupider thanks to social media and stuff. So if the only thing that can successfully distract us is something that's big and shiny, seems about right, and I will take that as a win. So yeah, if you're in the message boards, get some messages coming through. Got the old comment cam over there, ready for the reading of that. Also, while we're looking at some of the stuff that's in the newspapers, we'll do some of the front pages soon. I also wanted to mention, there we go, if you are in the Swindon area and you get yourself a copy of the Swindon Advertiser, or go to their website, there's a column that I wrote about Gwyneth Paltrow and her wellness issues. And I'm feeling weller already is the result. So there you go, Swindon Advertiser. It's Swindon Adver on Twitter. You can go and read the newspaper column on there. That'd be very nice for you, wouldn't it? What else could we plug? Oh, also while I'm plugging things, Hampstead Comedy Club, we're back performing. So on Saturday night, I'm going to be doing some stand-up. I'll have a slice of that. Back to some of the clips that we played recently then, to try and get you to watch tomorrow night at 9. This was a story a couple of weeks ago about how cruise ships were thinking of coming back. What? With all the disease around? Yes, indeed. And this is what they said. Royal Caribbean came up with this idea of mock cruises, and they wanted volunteers, apparently, to try and go and see if people would be interested in going back on cruises. And they've really reflected that well in their latest advert. Let's take a look.
Tired of spending weeks stuck in your own home? Then spend a magical 2 weeks stuck on a cruise. Corona Cruises offers all-inclusive packages, food, accommodation, and the inevitable medical costs. See the sights of the Caribbean through the safety of your own room's window. You'll feel so relaxed after 2 weeks at sea, followed by 14 days in quarantine. You'll really get away from it all. Unless someone on the cruise has it, in which case, you'll catch it too. Coronavirus, norovirus, and depending on who's been near the buffet, hepatitis C. Corona Cruises, the cruise to take before you die.
Exciting times. That's the kind of stuff you're missing if you're not watching it. Would you actually seriously go on a cruise? Given the time that we're in at the moment. I mean, I'm grateful that we're not even touching people or going near them, which, that was in the news today as well. Matt Hancock said that in tiers 2 and 3, the law is still in place, which means that you can't have sexual relations with your partner if you don't live together. And I think it makes sense that you can't. I think it's to do with the rule of 6. That you can't. You're looking at me like that for? How many people do you invite around your house on the weekend? Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to discuss some of the news stories. Let's look at some of the front pages. This is the eye for tomorrow. Vaccines to start on Tuesday in the UK. Now, I don't know why they didn't do Monday. Look, I know Mondays are a bit rough, but the whole see you next Tuesday thing, it's asking for trouble on social media. Make it start on Wednesday. I don't know. It does seem that, I guess, people realise this is a very serious time. We need to get this vaccine thing sorted. But it also feels like these doctors just can't be bothered on a Monday. You'll turn up late, don't you? You go to work on a Monday, you turn up half an hour late. First thing you do is go through to the crapper, sit there with a newspaper for half an hour. You don't want it to be a day when you're doing some of your best work. So, okay. Looks like Tuesday will be the best day for doing some of that. Also, we can go through more of the front pages. Unsurprisingly, The Telegraph talks about the same story. Now we can reclaim our lives, says Boris Johnson, showing how big he thinks his penis is, which is amazing that he managed to do so well if that's the energy that he's spouting. Okay. Or maybe what he's doing is, I misunderstood. He was talking about the vaccine and he said, it'll only be a little prick. That makes sense. Dad jokes. And I don't even have kids. This is what we're here for. So, yes, it's all basically to try and plug tomorrow night's show. And with a joke like that, you ain't coming back. Let's do some more clips from recent shows then. This one has been one of the worst visual experiences that I've ever put together. Because we're all talking about the vaccine tonight. It's like a vaccine special. when we heard the news that Dolly Parton was involved in funding some of the research, the Moderna one, I guess, then that was amazing. Like, all the people who were saying they were going to sort things out, and it turned out to be Dolly Parton who saved the world. 2020 is crazy, and it's nice that it can be crazy in a good way for once. So I decided to do a comedy song. I know I can't sing. I get that. And so I did this this singing thing, version of 9 to 5, and then I went out for a run. I came back and thought, I can make a little music video, and I had an idea for the music video for it. I deeply regret what was put together. If you actually pay attention to the video, you can see my face was still sweating from the run that I went on, which makes it even creepier. But it is one of the most stomach-churningly disgusting things I've ever done, and that's why I wanted to play it for you. So this is my version of 9 to 5, paying homage to what she did with funding the research. My apologies.
Stumble out of bed and go to the laboratory, make myself a drug that's not a suppository, and do some work that might save a life. In the blind trials, the drugs are pumping. Out on the streets, infection rates are jumping. But folks like me are in the labs from 9 to 5. Researching 9 to 5. What a way to make a vaccine. It's not made of bleach, but there is a little Listerine. Let's just hope it works more than the test and trackers. I'm okay if we don't give it to anti-vaxxers. 9 to 5 to make a drug that could save you from this nasty bug. An anti-masker probably gave you. We have PhDs, but Trump wants to take the credit. COVID tried to make him ill. Maybe we should let it.
Yeah. No, I know. Visually disturbing, isn't it? Do you know what? I'm going to hide that, and then we can play it again at the end of this little short broadcast. Right. So one of the things that I was doing today was getting stuck into some debates with vaxxers, not the maskers, the vaxxers. Even though anti-maskers and vaxxers, I think, got mentioned in that song there. Great. So I did a radio show. I'm doing it again tomorrow. Time FM in Essex. You can find it online if you want to listen to what I do. It's basically playing songs and dicking about. And this is from my Instagram. I sent this earlier on. I had a caller on a radio show I did today who said of the COVID vaccine, I wouldn't want a parachute that's only 95% effective. And I said, yeah, okay, but if you're already out of the plane and had to pick between a parachute and nothing, good luck learning to bounce. So it's been an interesting day, and yeah, you can track me down on Instagram if you want to see pearls of wisdom like that. It's been an interesting day trying to deal with, I don't know why people push back against it. Like, we had a lockdown, and people said, I will do anything to get out of this lockdown. And then we went, all right, so we can come out of the lockdown if you wear a mask. And people went, you want me to wear a mask? Ridiculous. Oh my, it's like being in a gulag. And then it was, okay, well, we'll just have this horrible mess until we get a vaccine. Brilliant. Here's a vaccine. I'm not taking that. I don't get people. And on Twitter, I was posting, in fact, I think we can show you the page. I was posting, in fact, before we get there, I was posting a video that, here we are, let's see what it looks like there. Did this video about anti-vaxxers. It was trending, and it's managed to get some anti-vaxxers giving me a good old thorough telling off. But this is my video about how I think that the vaccine should be handed out. I think I managed to track down, here we are, a version of it so we can watch the video. I don't think this is too offensive.
And how can we help you today?
Hello, Doctor. I'd like the COVID vaccine, please.
Okay, well, we'll just check your file and get you sorted in no time. And,
Oh, is there a problem?
we have to check your social media, and it says here you've been posting anti-science memes.
Well, only a little bit of...
It's all Bill Gates' fault. Don't blame it on sunshine, blame it on the 5G. Oh dear, I'm afraid you don't qualify for scientific help.
Oh, no, Doctor, please.
But don't worry, we won't just turn you away with nothing.
Oh, thank you so much.
In this bag is some lavender and a crystal, so best of luck.
I think that's valid. If you don't like the science, maybe you shouldn't get to benefit from it. If you're going to moan about, scientific breakthroughs, you're already benefiting from the fact that cavemen days we used to die in our 20s or something, and then we invent all this technology that keeps us alive, and now we invent the internet so you can go, oh, don't trust technology. Maybe get off the internet then. If you don't like science, don't use stuff that we've invented. Not necessarily a popular thing. I look forward to the rest of the messages that I'll be wading through for the rest of the day. So let's go back to some front pages. We can, for some reason, all the people who talk about front pages have started to include the Yorkshire Post. Hey, look, I'm not going to diss local newspapers, because you could read the Swindon Advertiser and get my column in there, or as you can see behind me, copy of the Chad or the Hackney Gazette. But the Yorkshire Post, UK vaccine rollout will take months. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of us. I'm okay with that. It's also good to see a picture of Boris Johnson using his hands to show the new improved size of his penis. And it's more like the one that got away kind of mime there, but that's nice that they're doing that. And this is the kind of stuff that we talk about, serious stories, and then we get down to doing penis jokes. You get subscribed on Twitch. I'm doing this whole thing to try and plug the Twitch at Mr. Stephen Allen. Right, let's get into some more of the clips. While we're talking vaccines, obviously some people are in favour of them, and you'll see there'll be loads of scientists that are on the TV in favour of them. And then you'll see people who disagree, quoting one scientist saying, "There, I must be right." Well done, you've found one dissenting voice and somehow think that that's more important than all the people who've got the evidence. But Professor Jean-Claude Van Damme is one of my favourite people to see on the TV on those daily briefings. And a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about the vaccine as soon as we heard that they even existed. And this is what he got stuck into. Professor Jonathan Van Damme said that he would be at the front of the queue for the Pfizer coronavirus vaccine. And I heard him say that and thought, you wouldn't, mate. His surname's Van Damme. That's not how they do it. As an Alan, I am offended that you are trying to take my place. When I was at school, whenever we had the arm jabs and all that stuff, I was always the first for the test and then for the actual injection and all of that. It was terrifying. And I told my dad about it, and he, because obviously had the same surname, he gave me a tip. He said when he was in the army, same thing. They used to have injections, and he was always the first, and he learned a nice little technique. And this is useful for anyone who's got an early in the alphabet surname. Yeah. What you do is you just suck it up, you get brave, and you realise you're going to have your injection anyway, and you go in. And you get your injection, and then as you walk past everyone in the queue waiting to get theirs, you play it up like it's the worst torture you've ever had. So, sure enough, I went in there, got my BCG, and walked out like, oh, the humanity! And then just watched everyone burst into tears. So, that's a little top tip from my dad to you. Yeah, sweet dad.
I thought you were going to finish that by saying, and you were the teacher as well.
And then I got off the bus. Well, yep, we got all the angles, we got all the classic jokes. So make sure you watch tomorrow from 9 o'clock for the full version of the show. Whilst I'm here plugging stuff, so there's the newspaper columns, and tomorrow on the radio, Time FM from 4. It's a very different sort of thing that I get up to. And get yourself subscribed to all the social medias. Basically, if you look at Mr. Stephen Allen, you'll see I've had some stuff blowing up. I remember when they used to say go viral. Isn't it interesting that now if something does well, they say it's blowing up? And I think it shows that we are so afraid of the word viral because of the pandemic, and yet I guess we don't give two shits about terrorism anymore. Interesting times. So, did we do the front page of the Metro? Don't think we did. V-Day. Interesting way of phrasing something to do with the vaccine, because V-Day sounds ruder, doesn't it? It's Wednesday night. It's, you don't get to spend that much time with your other half. All of a sudden, it's V-Day today. Come on. And crash out at the shops. We reported on this on the radio today, that there was a massive queue at junction 30 of the M25 as people were struggling to get to Lakeside. It was like salmon trying to make their way back to breed and buy some shitty Uggs. Strange times that there were people who are willing to queue to go back to shops. I mean, that's been one of the few good things that I've liked about this lockdown. Not having to go to shops, not having to shake hands with people, and I've actually started to enjoy wearing a mask, because I'm going to struggle when we don't wear them anymore. I'm an introvert, I'm quite shy. It's been quite comforting having something on my face. Also, if you're dealing with someone who's stupid, as long as you can keep your eyes neutral, you can gurn like an absolute pisshead and they can't tell. You can... So you just got to learn to go dead from the cheeks up, and they can't read what you're doing down there. Top tip, pro tip. While we're talking about various tips, we recently on the show gave some advice about how you could manage to beat the round system. You'll get your 10 o'clock last orders, 11 o'clock you'll be kicked out. We did some maths and we worked out if you buy more drinks before 10 o'clock, you'll still have them after 10. Interesting science stuff. You can go back and watch the videos. Also, we were talking about some of the issues with buying alcohol, whether it's to do with the rules in Wales, which will be the first clip I show you, or the rules to do with what is a substantial meal. Let's get stuck in. Pubs can open, but they can't serve alcohol. I'm joined by a minister from Wales.
Hello, Steve.
Hello. So, pub without alcohol, it's the stupidest idea ever.
Hold your horses there. You've not even heard the rest of our ideas.
All right, they might be worse. Tell me what you got.
After having pubs with no alcohol, we thought we'd open gentlemen's clubs with no light bulbs. So you can still go in, but you won't enjoy it. We want to open McDonald's, where they'll only be able to sell their salads. Yeah. And we will open Pizza Express, and they'll be allowed to sell everything on the menu.
Yeah.
Apart from the dough balls.
You.
Look, Steve, I know it's difficult to fathom the idea of a pub with no alcohol. It seems like an anathema. It seems like a devolved administration without a point-scoring prick.
You're making some good points. Thank you very much for joining me. So that's the kind of stuff we get up to. Covering the news, I think, in an in-depth way that you won't find covered anywhere else. I did promise you that we'd also hit the big topic. And this is going to be the newspaper column in the Romford Recorder and Barking and Dagenham Post. Scotch eggs. Who would have thought that in the year 2020 the hottest debate would have been about that potentially hot or cold snack? Let's get stuck in. Some pubs will only be able to sell alcohol if they have a substantial meal. Is a Scotch egg a substantial meal? And I can understand why the government in this is in a bit of a pickle, which actually would go really nice with that Scotch egg. They're in a tricky situation because if they say, yes, a Scotch egg is a substantial meal, it means pubs will start just selling a free Scotch egg with every pint, but you'll end up having a conversation like this.
Oh, I've got such a hangover. I think I overdid it on the Scotch.
What, whiskey?
No, eggs.
But what about the other side? If the government go, no, don't be stupid, Scotch eggs are not a meal. Well, you know who's going to get upset then. The Westminster leader of the SNP in Blackford's bound to do one of the things where he says,
this blatant anti-Scottish rhetoric is another piece of evidence that shows we need independence.
I mean, it's special effects coming out of the yin-yang on this show. Tomorrow at 9 for the next episode, just checking some of the social media stuff. So yeah, hopefully people are putting it in their diary tomorrow at 9. I wanted to try and get tonight's thing over and done with in half an hour, but Struth through 26 minutes into it. It's my fault for dicking around typing stuff on screen for 5 minutes. All right. So that's the egg story, which hopefully will be done and dusted. No one needs, as we covered in the main version of the show, the bigger problem when it comes to what is a substantial meal is that we need to all agree when you go to one of those fancy restaurants when they give you half a quail egg and 3 bits of salad leaves, it's not a substantial meal. No. Should not be 25 quid for a starter. You can jog on, mate. That's the problem with me being northern. So as we've been looking at all of the front pages, I think we've got, just give me a little update. I set the kit up, so actually, any that break through, here we go. I can bring you The Guardian on the way shortly. So if we zoom in on that, flipping technology, look at that. Vaccinations next week as PM caught in Brexit row. And what's this? Back with a splash. Swimmers celebrate as second lockdown ends. Is that what you've missed that much, going for a swim? It's been the biggest bane of your life, is it? To be fair, are they outdoor swimming? Oh, what is? I don't understand why people do outdoor swimming in the winter. You might as well just lock yourself in the fridge. If you are the kind of person who watches The Shining and at the end thinks what happens to Jack Nicholson's character looks refreshing, then you got a problem and you should go cold swimming in the winter. So we'll be covering all the news with one more clip to play before we do much else, but I'll get just covering some of the stuff that I wanted to show you on social media. Oh, there's this one. This is a story that we won't be covering tomorrow. The news, and I love sciencey news, of a tiny worm that sacrifices itself to make milk for its hatching offspring. And, you know, is it therefore that bad that she wants to have a little bit of me time and open a Chardonnay? By God, she does enough sacrificing. So that's one of the stories that we won't get around to dealing with. We also almost talked about this. The Culture Secretary saying that the Netflix should warn people that The Crown isn't real. What? You are sweet shitting me, aren't you? I thought that actually was the Queen, but now you say it, she does look a little bit too much like that person from Broadchurch. I knew something was a bit fishy about it. And those, if ever you watch the MASH report, which is currently being repeated on Thursdays, 10:30 BBC Two, turns out that's fictional as well. The character that I play in it, I'm far more attractive in real life. Oh shit, you can see me. I'm far more attractive in balls. That bit don't work when you're not on radio. So I think that's all the screenshots that I need to show you from what's happening on there. Although I will say, don't forget, back doing some live comedy if you're in London. Camden, have a look at the Hampstead Comedy Club Twitter websitey thing. You get some details from there. So one clip left before we head out of here, and I just tell you to watch the show tomorrow at 9. And this was talking about taking credit for the vaccine being discovered. We know it was all because of Dolly Parton, and she's the one that we have to thank. And yet someone else tried to take credit for it too. Typical. There's another vaccine just announced, this time by Moderna, for those great historians, quote marks, weird. Please remember that these great discoveries, which will end the China plague, all took place on my watch. So what? I mean, no one ever thanks the Prime Minister who was in charge when the television was invented. You were just randomly there at the time. Stop taking science as credit. That's like saying that the greatest invention ever was created by Ugg. Ugg wasn't the one who invented the wheel. Ugg was simply the most brutal of alpha males in that tribe at the time. I think you'll find good point well made. So all that's left to say is tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Watch the live stream for Comic Solving Problems, me and Eric McElroy. You've seen what the kind of clips that we churn out. You can see it all on social media. Get followed on Twitter and stuff like that, and we can continue the row with the anti-vaxxers later. I'm off to go and get some food, probably a nice warm milk-based drink, and then to sit down and watch some Netflix, which I think I can definitely learn something about chess. I think that must be a documentary, that one. The one thing I've learned about that is that if you wear some wicked eyeliner, you're suddenly better at playing chess. That must be true because they didn't warn me about it beforehand. Just to play us out then, I'll play that 9 to 5 hideous thing that I recorded and say we'll see you tomorrow from 9 on the internet. Till then, bye. Stumble out of bed and go to the laboratory, make myself a drug that's not a suppository, and do some work that might save a life. In the blind trials, the drugs are pumping out on the streets, infection rates are jumping, but folks like me are in the labs from 9 to 5. Researching 9 to 5. What a way to make a vaccine. It's not made of bleach, but there is a little Listerine. Let's just hope it works more than the test and track, 'cause I'm okay if we don't give it to anti-vaxxers. 9 to 5 to make a drug that could save you from this nasty bug. An anti-masker probably gave you. We have PhDs, but Trump wants to take the credit. COVID tried to make him ill. Maybe we should let it